Sean's had to press loads of buttons, so I'm not sure if this is completely going to work, but I've got faith in him.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He's getting there, isn't he?
He's really coming on. He's responding well to your shouting, general abuse, and occasional motivation. And,
I give Josh more stick than Sean, don't I?
Yeah, you're honourable to Josh. I feel like we need to. I mean, we've got policies in place, but I feel like I need to. Let
I've checked he's all right with it.
There's people he can speak to.
Yeah.
If
he was being bullied by his boss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've got things in place. Adam Lallana's boss loves him. Thinks he's great, doesn't he? Looks like he's getting a new contract, according to Joycey, who's rarely wrong.
Slightly worded strangely, I thought that story in a way, and that it was like Liverpool are going to start a conversation about it more, wasn't it? And it was like he's on the list now to be renewed. Didn't feel like there was any immediacy about it. But yeah, I mean, I guess what you can take out of it is that he's clearly impressed Klopp. I think we've worked that out anyway.
But he just never seems to drop him.
Never drops him.
People said in the summer he might be in trouble. People said when Klopp came in, he might be someone in trouble, and he's picked him whenever he could, and no matter who he's bought and who he's strengthened, he just seems to always want him in the team. He broke his own record at the weekend, did you see that?
Running.
For distance covered, which isn't everything, but...
Running never used to be a thing, did it? Can you remember, going to match years ago and going, ran loads him, didn't he?
Well, no, but putting ships in is always impressed
it's been
fans.
A thing, yeah.
You haven't monitored it with kilometres and stuff like that, but it's always been something that can kind of help get you on side really. I don't think it's gone unnoticed, how much Lallana's putting in this deeper position, and throwing a few tackles in always helps as well.
Yeah, and he tracks the runs as well, doesn't he? We were talking about this on the podcast about everyone talks about he's got end product now, isn't he? Scored 2 and 1 for England, but I mean, it's promising.
Yeah.
But in that deeper role, he doesn't necessarily always throw tackles in, but he tracks loads of runs, doesn't he? So you just see him popping up all of a sudden and just nicking it on the edge of the box or things like that, and I think that's obviously going to be appreciated by the manager as well. So yeah, no real surprise for me. I've never really had a big problem with him. I think he's had his ups and downs, obviously, But like Firmino really is another one really where I feel like we're talking about a bit of a different player now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a few little gripes and groans around about Wardy just does this. He just does he plays well for a season or so and gets a new deal. Well, probably because if the manager doesn't want to lose him, then he'll tie him up.
Yeah, and the manager's spoken in the past as well about, I'm just going to go on what I see. And he had a bit of a laugh about the Lovren situation. Like, everyone keeps telling me he's rubbish when I'm walking the dog, but he's been great for me. So what do you want me to go on?
He'll base it on.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so I think he is going to base on it what he's been like for him and how he's found him. And if he sees him as someone we can use in the future all over the park, then he's going to like it. So so good for him. It feels funny because it's 3 days till our next game, and so that's one of the Friday night things all becoming a little bit real. So there's a bit of build up to that. Looks like John Terry's out, picked up an injury in his last game. There was a bit of talk that he might be all right, but now they're saying 10 days on that. So David Luiz is going to come in. I think that probably would have happened during the season anyway. They've paid a lot of money for him to bring him back. It wasn't to sit on the bench. I expect that they were looking at getting him and Kale to be in the centre of partnership eventually, but probably a bit sooner than I guess they would have wanted to.
And he feels like one who's definitely got a mistake in him, doesn't he?
But he does, yeah, although I'm sure he's got good games in him as well. But I just look at it and think, well, it's a new partnership thrown in. They've only got a few days to work on it. And
Kyle's head was gone over that goal as well, wasn't it?
He was not happy.
That interview. That interview, though.
Yeah, it looks worse every time you see that. But
I mean, it's a bad touch, though, isn't it? As well. I mean, he does get fouled.
On what you can do. Concentrate on what you can do, Gary. But yeah, so new centre-half partnership. They're still not quite seem to be quite sure on what to do in a fullback and things like that. So there might be a little bit of an opportunity on Friday to do one there, especially with how many goals we're scoring. And Emre Can's back as well, which is another option that he might look at. A bit more physicality in midfield, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, on the midfield question, I can sort of see if Lovren might come in for Lucas. This is how I see it in my head. I mean, obviously, people will disagree, but I can see Lovren coming in for Lucas because, as you say, he's impressed the manager. He's done pretty well. He's a bit... he looks more like a centre-half. He's more physical. Maybe that gets him the advantage over Lucas against going up against Costa. In midfield, though, I think it's harsh if you drop anyone out of that after Leicester. I mean, I thought Henderson was the one there was a question mark about.
Yeah, as his best game.
But then he's had his best game yet. So, do you then drop him? Plus, he's the captain. I think maybe, you know, we've got Derby coming up, haven't we, in the League Cup?
Yeah, might be one you use him for there. That's what they did last time. They brought him back in, and then he picked up a bit of a knock, unfortunately. So just to have him on the bench, you know, when it was
nice,
it was 3-1 at Derby, and they made a couple of subs and a couple of physical subs. Not Derby, Leicester. Leicester. No, 3-1 at Leicester the weekend, and you're looking at the bench thinking we could do with showing it up here, and there wasn't really anyone to do it. So maybe just to have him an option, and then obviously he's got a bit of a selection headache up front, but now, which is a nice one, but I'm sure we'll cover that on plenty of the shows throughout the week. And we'll be doing the Friday show early, by the way, that'll be out on Thursday, so we'll be doing plenty of build up to the weekend. So we'll leave it there for now. Are you going to watch any of the Champions League stuff?
Don't know. Don't like it when we're not in it.
I know, when that music plays, you get a bit depressed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I will just say, obviously, Brendan Rodgers coming up against Luis Suarez tonight, so that'll be a bit of an interesting one. Barcelona v Celtic, but you know, the hipster choice, Man City playing Mönchengladbach, and obviously De Hood is playing for Gladbach.
So you can do a bit of scouting.
So I've never watched De Hood play in like a proper game. I've seen him on YouTube and he looks alright, but I might actually watch that tonight and see what De Hood's like, because he's playing against English opposition, tough one as well. You know, they've started the season very well, so I might just
content. Gibbo's going to write up a scouting report on the Hood, how he played against Man City.
800 words tomorrow. I've talked myself into that one. Right, we'll leave it there before I get anything else to do. Sound. Up the Reds.